Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, Head Currency Analyst. In this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different today again. The markets were relatively quiet. I was waiting for a couple of opportunities, but they don't seem to have materialised apart from the Aussie yen market that we talked about earlier, where the market started to rise from this level of support. Now, I'm just going to go over Aussie yen in a different terms and why we're looking at certain things in the markets and how can you easily determine a market to trade. Now, number one question I usually get asked is, how do I know I should be trading that market? How do I know which market to trade? And there's an easy answer to this, or a relatively easy answer to this, and how I look for markets to trade personally is looking at our major currency pairs, seeing where our major currency strengths and weaknesses are, seeing what major currencies are at key areas of support and resistance. Now, one that I talked about earlier was Aussie yen, and we're looking for a long opportunity in here because it's at support level X, Y, and Z. But there's another example that we can take a look at, and it's on the 17th of September. The market technically, so if you were looking at this market alone, technical traders would be looking at this saying, well, the market's at resistance, it's forming bearish price action, I'm going to look for the short opportunity. Now, there's not a problem with that, but the problem is that it's inconsistent because if you go back and test price action just on its own, it's very inconsistent. It's not very profitable. But, you know, what we need to do is add factors on why a market is moving in a certain way. So what I'm going to do is just bring two charts onto my screen. And I've done this recently with the previous Aussie yen post. But what I'm going to bring in is the Aussie US dollar on the top. And then I'm going to bring, so dollar yen's already there, sorry. Now, what we're looking at in particular is what is going on these major currency pairs, okay? Now, if we go take a look at the Aussie dollar and look around about the 16th, 17th of September, we can see that price actually came up into these weekly lows. So before we even look at Aussie yen, I'm just going to highlight the fact that the Aussie dollar was at a resistance point. The market came up into these weekly lows through there. Now, at weekly resistance, you would expect the market to find some resistance and fall away, okay? Which is great. The market does do that. But what market do you trade it against? Yes, you could just trade the Aussie versus the US dollar, especially if you think the US dollar was going to strengthen at that point. Then you can look for a move to the downside here on the Aussie USD. However, what if there wasn't an option to trade the US dollar? You want to look for an option against your cross pairs. So dollar yen at the time was also moving lower. Okay, and it actually came into an area of resistance. It doesn't look like it did there, but if I go out to a bigger time frame on here again, going up to that weekly time frame, the market actually comes back into a key resistance level. So you can see I've already put one in there, but it's a bit of a zone that drops. So if I try and control or at least clone this up in here, so just clone this horizontal and bring it down. This is what the zone sort of looks like. Okay, massive zone on dollar yen. So if I go down into the daily time frame again, we're at this resistance zone and we're expecting the market to retrace back down, and we were actually expecting the market to come back into these highs for a long opportunity that we've spoken about before. Okay, so we're expecting that to happen. So we need the market to pull back into this supporting zone for a long opportunity. So that means we're expecting dollar yen to move lower and Aussie dollar to move lower. Because remember, when you're trading these currency pairs, these cross pairs, you're trading the major currency pairs against each other. And what I mean by that is basically you're trading Aussie USD versus dollar yen. So if we want Aussie yen to move lower, what we want to see is the Aussie dollar move lower and the Japanese dollar yen move lower as well, okay? Which is what we get here. We get that situation there, which is why we see that move down in Aussie yen in the first place, okay? So recently we've looked at the potential buying opportunity on Aussie yen, and if you go back into the trading view post, you'll see why. Okay, so typically the market is at an area of support on Aussie dollar. Dollar yen is moving towards an area of resistance. We're expecting the market to reach around about the 109.30s. So we're expecting Aussie yen to climb into this resistance again. Okay, so make sure you take into account your cross pairs before even going on to this. Okay. This has been John Kibler, head currency analyst at Blueberry Markets. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want me to do another example, drop a comment in below and just say, yes, John, can you give me another example? And I'll go through one soon. Thanks for watching. Speak to you soon.